What's up, guys? How's it going? And welcome to the Minute channel. We are gonna be doing a video today that, well, we talked about this in previous occasions, and I feel like this will be a good time to kind of go over it finally. I planned this video for some time now, and I feel like it's a good time to actually go through it. Like I said before, I had this in my mind for quite a bit of time, and I feel like it's just a good time to actually go through with it. So, as Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out earlier this year, pretty good reception. We talked about this game in a lot of detail for some time now. So, instead of talking about it as far as everything, I'm just gonna be ranking the characters in Shin Megami Tensei 5. Um, I don't really think I'm gonna be doing spoilers in this particular video. I just kind of want to give my thoughts on every character. I will do kind of final thoughts, but again, no major spoilers or anything. Although I will tell you, a lot of these characters do have some pretty spoilery stories to themselves, but I won't discuss the story itself. I'll just kind of tell you my thoughts about every character and what I think about them after finishing the game a few times, and that's pretty much it. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about all this, and I want to hear definitely your opinion on what you are your favorite characters and everything. Also, don't take my word as law or anything like that. It's literally just my opinion on how I feel about the characters. So you're free to like or dislike certain characters that I may or may not like as much as you do. I don't know. You just kind of have to say that because in every one of these ranking ones that I do, there seems to be some people that are upset about my thoughts on certain characters and everything. So yeah, I can't really help it, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it here. And of course, I made this one here, but for some reason the face is cut off in a lot of them, which is very interesting. But I'm sure you know who they are, right? So we're gonna start, I guess, with the main protagonist here. I'm actually just gonna give S to the main protagonist, the Nahobino, the main protagonist in the story. I thought he was a pretty good character. I wouldn't say he's like the best protagonist I ever played in a video game or anything like that. But pretty much the entire story is about him, kind of the different choices that you go along the way. It does have more of an emphasis on him as the character and kind of just everything that happens surrounding the idea that he's the Nahobino, this forbidden being that is not supposed to exist in this world or something of that nature. But overall, I think that he was a pretty decent protagonist. I actually really like the design of both the human design and the Nahobino design. I think they did an excellent job as far as like showing both of them. Not really any particularly negatives that I can think of at the top of my head. Thought it was a pretty well designed. But I'm gonna move into the companion of the Nahobino, the other side of the Nahobino, Aogami. Now, without spoilers on this character, his background story is actually pretty interesting. I actually do quite enjoy the way that they managed to cram a lot of his story in more of a side quest type of thing, but at the same time giving you no information as far as seeing the relationship between the protagonist and his other character Aogami. And actually they do such a good job as far as like selling you on the idea that there's this other being besides you, as far as like being in a Hobino, and both of you guys kind of make those decisions along the way. They do have a lot of communication with each other, especially whenever there's a major choice or a major kind of development in the story. There is kind of a discussion between the protagonist and Aogami as far as like what your intentions are or like what's going on in the story and everything. I think it was really well executed. I don't think that particularly I will say the best thing or anything like that, but I think the way that they did this was pretty well done. So we're gonna continue with all the human characters first, because I think that there were more human characters in this time around. And well, before we even go there, we'll do that. Okay, so we're gonna go with the girl. So we're gonna rank her as an 8. I think she's fine. I forgot her name at the top of my head, Tao. And she was a good kind of like it's kind of hard to explain her role without doing spoilers, and I really don't want to do spoilers for that same sake. I think she was a fine character. They definitely focused a lot of her as part of the main story and everything. She had some interesting aspects of the story that was never really explored in the game. So I will say she's like half a character, where half of the time you do know a lot of the stuff going on about her, but at the same time there's a lot of mystery and a lot of aspects of the character that aren't really shown. I'll say the character is half developed, but definitely show a more of, like, for example, the human high school girl and everything like that, what she does, and her interaction with the other characters and everything. She's supposed to be like this likable, sociable, very famous character that everybody likes and everything. But that never really like plays a part in the story. Never really feels that way. In fact, one of her best friends, quote unquote, is she's like in danger at some point in the story, and you really don't even see, like, they don't really sell you well on the idea of a good friendship. Like, it doesn't really make you feel like they're really like the best of friends or anything like that. In fact, it just kind of makes you feel like, I mean, they know each other, but it never really makes you feel like, wow, look at these two friends that they will go. Just to put it in perspective, for example, and I'm gonna compare Persona, but I see, kind of just maybe see what I'm going for. Persona 5, they do have these two friends, Anne and Shiho, in the story, and you can clearly see Anne's motivations as far as like helping her friend Shiho. You don't really see this in here as far as like these two friends, quote unquote. I don't think they did a good job as far as fleshing out a friendship or anything like that. They do, however, flesh out this character, which I thought it was a pretty good idea, as this kind of bullied character. It's a character that explains, a lot of bullying in the school and everything like that. She's part of the same team as Tao. I guess they're both teammates and friends. And they did such a good job as far as exploring her motivations to do what she does in the game, in the story. And I think that, oddly enough, that's one of the characters that are more explored in the game, and she doesn't really play a major role in the overall arcane plot of the story, which is pretty interesting. But they do tease her in both the story and the what I'll say, the trailers, as this character that is gonna be more into the game. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, which is pretty interesting. Not a character that I will say like, oh, is the best character or anything like that. But what they showcased was pretty cool, and I actually kind of like what they were going for with that character. Sorry about that, guys. Moving on, we'll have Yuzuru. Now, Yuzuru is gonna be a C for me, guys. He was an okay character. In fact, he was so okay that he was painfully average. It was really nothing to him. I'm now being very brutally honest here. I thought he had an interesting character design. His character designs made him seem like maybe like the smart kid that he's gonna make some decisions that you may not agree with for the sake of maybe like the greater good or something like that. But it doesn't really, his decision is really boils down to one thing, and it's not even like a fleshed out thing or anything like that. I tried so hard to see these characters like, oh man, like there's gonna be this character motivation. Even when you do see some character motivation, you don't see him from his perspective. You see it in like other aspects, the quest and everything like that, not from his point of view or anything. It's not really well fleshed out. He's actually one of the worst fleshed out characters in the game. He may as well just be X character with no background whatsoever. Very, very sad to see that. The next one is Dazai, Ichiro Dazai. I remember his name very well, and it's not for a good reason. I actually hate this guy. I really do. I'll be frank, this is one of the worst characters in the game. I hate just seeing him. I think he's so badly done as far as like everything, and did not enjoy anything about this kid. He really just annoyed the living crap out of me, guys. And I will say he's just one of the characters that I like at all. I'm just gonna give him an F. Without really going too much into it, I know a lot of people like this character. I just did not. Everything about him kind of really annoyed me, and it annoyed me really badly to the point that I was like, Yo, this character is so frustrating. At times, I was getting super frustrating with him. I thought that his motivations for certain things just didn't make sense overall, and I do apologize because I know some people really do like that character. I just don't see him. I really don't. I don't see him as a character that is important or interesting. In fact, I thought he was one of the worst fleshed out characters in the game. And although he is the one that gets the most kind of motivation, not motivation, but more story, and even like they show more about like his lack of confidence and everything. I hate it when they every time that he was on screen, I was just hating on him the entire time. I'm like, man, this kid, he annoys the living crap out of me. So I do apologize. I know some people like him. I just do not. And the more I saw him on screen, the more kind of irritated me and everything. So it's gonna be one of the ones that some people probably gonna dislike the video after this. I apologize if you do like him. I just do not see him as a compelling or interesting character whatsoever. So the next one is gonna be Yusuru's sister. I'm actually gonna give her a B. She has a very interesting side quest chain along with another character, and the way that they did her very little bit of story they did for her was pretty good. I actually did enjoy the little bit of story they did for Yuzuru. Unfortunately, they don't do a lot more than that. It's very lacking, in the lack of a better word. It lacks a lot of development and actually like meat and use of what it is. In fact, it kind of feels very like it doesn't really go anywhere or anything like that. It's almost like it might as well just not exist or kind of do anything important in the story. So unfortunately, although you do need to do her side quest to do like the true ending, I guess, it's never really like such a fleshed out development or anything like that, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunate because I was really looking forward to her and the character, and maybe they were going to do and everything. They just didn't do a good job with it, unfortunately. Now, I'm gonna do the final. Well, there's two more human characters, I guess, if you will, but I will keep that for a little bit. Okay, so the final human character that we were introduced to was the what they do as the Tokyo head of Bethel, who is also the minister. Interesting character overall. I think that they did a pretty good job as far as developing who he really is and the storyline and everything like that. The relationship to him and Bethel and the rest of the demons and the gods and everything like that. His position as far as like Tokyo and his goal and motivations. Very, 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 very well developed character. Actually, one of the characters that they did the most as far as like motivations, why he's doing that, what he tried to do, and everything like that. It's a very well fleshed out character. It's actually one of the most fleshed out character in the story. Interestingly enough, I just really like that, and his design is actually pretty cool. I will say that his design as this kind of like hip minister, and it looks really good. I actually like the way that they developed the character and showed him. Very cool stuff. Well, moving on into the next one, we're gonna go into Ameno Zako. Now, Ameno Zako, I'm gonna give her. I really want to give her a B, but I'm gonna give her an A. They do a lot of interesting stuff with her character. I really want to say that they actually did such a much better job as far as like doing the the demon characters better than the human characters. And that I know some people are gonna say, well, in most Shin Megami Tensei games, the demons are usually pretty well developed. Yeah, but in this game, it's a very interesting kind of showing all the different characters and everything. Menozako had a pretty interesting story, and I really like the way that they did her character. She was annoying at first. It actually really annoyed me to the point that I was like, man, I wish I could just mute her, especially when she gets one of those treasures and she goes what her infamous phrase that she says is just not good. But anyway, good character. I love the design actually. Thought they did a good job as far as like giving her that Tengu vibe and everything. So pretty cool stuff. Well, the next one's gonna be kind of other characters here that participate in part of the story and everything like that. Some of them have minor roles, some of them have major roles. But I still want to rank them because they're new and I love the character design and everything. So before we move on to that, we want to showcase two of the characters that I thought were fantastic. One is gonna be Yakima, which they do a bit of more development for him than they do for your own classmates, which is interesting. He's a man with interesting motivations, although unfortunately they don't do a good job as far as like giving you more of what he's looking to do unless you do the truth, the ending and everything. It's one of those things that I feel like should have been a little bit more fleshed out. Maybe some more side quests, maybe some more conversations along the way could have really helped a lot of the characters here, including Giacomo. But I still love one, the design, what they did for him and everything, as well as the other character who is his companion. She's gonna be an S for me. I actually love everything from the writing on her to the design. Obviously, they did such a good job with Nua. She's one of my favorite characters in the game. In fact, I will say she's probably my favorite character in the game. From a writing perspective, or even kind of like the design or the story, I really enjoyed her. She was amazing. Well, anyway, moving on here, we're gonna do Abdel. Now, Abdel, I want to give her a B. Yeah, I know, right? I gave Dazai and F. Abdel a B. There's a lot about Abdel that I thought it was really interesting. Being that this is the first time that she's showcased in a Megaten game. Although she's kind of one of those angels that aren't really showcased all the time because it just depends on what kind of scriptures you read and everything, and what kind of angels we're talking about and everything. But Abdel is a pretty interesting character. They did a lot of cool stuff with her design, which I actually love the design that they went for, the gold and really righteous kind of demon angel, whatever you call her. The motivations behind her and what she ended up doing at the end of the game, very cool stuff. It took me by surprise a few times. It actually did some pretty interesting stuff with her character, so I did appreciate that, and I actually did like her design quite a bit. I'm almost tempted to move her to an A because I really like the character design, but I'm gonna read into a B because I think there are some aspects that I didn't agree too much with, but I like it anyway. The next one's gonna be I guess this one right here. He's awesome. I really can't talk about much about him without going into spoiler territory, so I won't. But I know that I like him. He's a rank in the A. I love what they did with him and the character and his relationship to other characters. His motivations are very clear. The entire side quest that we do for him, one of the coolest things in the game. I really wish there were more of stuff like what they did for him. Really cool stuff. Gonna give this guy B. Definitely do his side quest if you can. It's not super in depth or anything like that, but one, I love that we have new demons in SMT5, and his demon design is a 10 out of 10 for me. Character, it's cool. He doesn't really play a big role in the overarching plot of the story, anything like that. But I love his side quest, and I love what they did with the character and everything. So B, I think is pretty fair, pretty good stuff there. The last two that I have here, I realized that I have two of the same girl right here, so you can forget about that one, okay? But these two right here, they are not, although they help you a lot in the story, as far as like gameplay perspective, they don't really have a lot to say as far as like characters in the story. But I want to rank them based on design and how useful they are. I'm gonna give them an S to both. They're actually very cool, welcome additions to the series. Sophia, for once, is kind of the replacement of the Mido from the Cathedral of Shadows in the previous Megaten games. And she's a welcome addition. I actually love the character design for once. It's fantastic. I love everything about like the design. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And I really love the design. It's just a 10 out of 10 design for me. As far as my man, he's amazing. I love the design as well. I think he gives you that creepy vibes and everything. And you go to his mountain of gold where he's selling you items and everything, and then the side quest that you get to do with him and the little mements and everything along the way and everything. All about that, that's pretty cool stuff. I actually enjoyed quite a bit of that. Really interesting aspect here, guys, today. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to rank this video, these characters here. I feel like I missed a few. But I didn't add them here, so I do apologize if I missed any important ones or anything like that. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to reach to that 4,000 subscriber mark, hopefully pretty soon by the end of the year, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.